Welcome to Introduction to Business. This lecture is going to be looking at Chapter 8, Managing Operations and Supply Chains. The learning objectives include define operations management, differentiate between operations and manufacturing, explain how operation management differs in manufacturing and service firms, describe the elements involved in planning and designing an operations system, specify some techniques managers may use to manage the logistics of transforming inputs into finished products, and assessing the importance of quality and operations management. Operations management refers to the development and administration of the activities involved in transforming resources into goods and services. Operation managers oversee the transformation process and the planning and designing of operation systems, managing logistics, quality, and productivity. Quality and productivity have become the fundamental aspects of operation management because a company that cannot make products of the quality desired by consumers using resources efficiently and effectively will not be able to remain in business. Operation management has historically been called production or manufacturing. The term operations represents an interest in viewing the operation functions as a whole rather than a simple input or output. Production and manufacturing refer to the physical activities and the processes used in making tangible goods and services. These two terms are often used interchangeably. Operations describes the activities, including production, involved in producing both tangible and intangible products. The transformation process is a process through which inputs are converted into outputs. Inputs are resources such as labor, money, materials, and energy. Outputs are goods, services, and ideas. The transformation process combines inputs in predetermined ways using different equipment, administrative processes, and technology to create a product. To ensure that the transformation process generates quality products efficiently, the operation manager controls the process by taking measurements at various points in the transformation process, comparing these measurements to established standards, and taking corrective action for any deviation. Transformation may take place through one or more processes. Different types of transformation process take place in an organization that provides a service. Unlike tangible goods, services are effectively actions or performances that must be directed towards consumers who use them. Regardless of the level of customer contact, service businesses strive to provide a standardized process. Manufacturers produce tangible products while service providers produce intangible products. The very nature of service provider product requires a high degree of customer interaction. The actual performance of the server typically occurs at the point of consumption. Service providers are often more limited than manufacturing in selecting work methods, assigning jobs, scheduling work, and exercising control over operations. The quality of the service experience is often controlled by a service contact employee. Uniformity of inputs. Manufacturers typically have more control over the amount of variability of the resources they use than do service providers. Products of service organizations tend to be more customized than those of other manufacturing counterparts. Uniformity of outputs. Because of the human element inherited in providing services, each service tends to be performed differently. Human technology elements associated with service can result in a different day-to-day or even hour-to-hour performance of that service. Service providers are generally more labor-intensive because of the high level of customer contact and perishability of the output, and the high degree of variable inputs and outputs. A manufacturer is likely to be more capital intensive. For manufacturers, measuring productivity is fairly straightforward because of the tangibility of the output and its high degree of uniformity. For service providers, variations in service requirements from job to job and intangibility of the product make productivity measurables much more difficult. Most organizations are combinations of manufacturer and service providers, with tangible and intangible qualities embodied in what they produce. Before a company can make a product, it must decide what it will produce, for what group of customers, and what processes it will use to make the products and what facilities it needs for production. Before making a product, a company must find out what consumers want and design a product to satisfy that want. Most companies use marketing research to find out what consumers want. Developing a product can be a lengthy and expensive process. The engineering or research and development department is charged with turning a product idea into workable design that can be produced economically as well as efficiently. Operation managers plan for types of quantities of material needed to produce the product and the skills and quality of the people needed to make the product and the actual processes through which input must pass. Capacity refers to the maximum load that an organization unit can carry or operate. The unit of measurement may be a worker, a machine, a department, a branch, or even an entire plant. Maximum capacity can be stated in terms of inputs or outputs provided. Efficiently planning the organization capacity needs is an important process for the operation manager. Capacity levels that fall short can result in unmet demands. When there is capacity that is needed and operation costs are driven up needlessly due to the unused and often expensive resources. To avoid such situations, organizations must accurately forecast demand and then plan capacity based on those forecasts. Once a capacity decision, such as a factory size, has been implemented, it is very difficult to change these decisions without incurring substantial costs. Many products are produced in factories, but others are produced in stores, at home, or where the product ultimately will be used. Companies must decide where to locate their operations facility, what layout is best for producing the particular product, and even what technology to apply to the transformation process. Some companies are using both physical and virtual locations. Once a facility location decision has been made and implemented, the firm must live with it due to the high costs involved. When making the facility location decision, the firm must pay careful attention to factors such as proximity to the market, availability of raw materials, availability of transportation, availability of power, climate influences, availability of labor, community characteristics, taxes, and inducements. The facility location is complex because it involves the evaluation of many factors, some which cannot be measured with precision. Facility layout is the arrangement of the physical components of an organization. It's complex and can be highly technical. There are three basic layouts used in industries: a fixed position layout, process layout, and product layout. A fixed position layout has centered location for the basic product, and all the resources required to create the product are brought to the location. A company uses fixed position layout may be called a project organization because it typically involves any large complex projects such as construction. The process layout organizes the transformation process into departments that group related processes. Intermittent organizations, which create products to customers' specifications and produce relatively few units of each product, uses a process layout. The product layout breaks work into relatively simple tasks assigned to workers positioned along the assembly line. Companies use this layout are often known as continuous manufacturing organizations because once they are set up, they run continuously creating products with many similar characteristics. The chosen layout should be best accommodated to the type of activities performed by the facility. Every industry has a basic underlying technology that dictates the nature of its transformation process. Additionally, computers and robots have strongly influenced the operations of many businesses. Computer-assigned design is the design of components, products, or processes on computers instead of paper. Computer-assisted manufacturing is the use of computers in manufacturing to guide and control the transformation process. Computers are also used to monitor and control the transformation process. Flexible manufacturing is a system that uses computers to direct machinery to adapt to different versions of similar operations. Robots perform a variety of tasks too difficult, dangerous, or repetitive for humans that are becoming increasingly important in assembly line uses, such as spot welding and painting. Computer integrated manufacturing is a complete system that uses both CAD and CAM, flexible manufacturing, and robotics to design products, manage machines and materials, and control the operation functions. Manufacturing and operation systems are quickly being remade to reduce negative impacts on the natural environment. Sustainability deals with conducting activities in such a way as to provide for the long-term well-being of the natural environment, including all biological entities. Issues include pollution of land, air, water, climate change, waste management, deforestation, urban sprawl, protection of biodiversity, and genetically modified foods. Sustainability is increasingly important to stakeholders and can lead to improved profits. A major function of operations is supply chain management, refers to connecting and integrating all parties or members of the distribution system in order to satisfy the customer. This is also called logistics. Supply chain management refers to all activities involved in obtaining and managing raw materials, component parts, managing the finished product, packaging them, and getting them to the customers. The supply chain integrates firms such as raw material suppliers, manufacturer retailers, and ultimate consumers in seamless flow of information and products. Logistics concerns involve physical distribution and selection of transportation modes. Inbound logistics involves movement of raw materials, packaging information, and other goods and services from suppliers to producers. Outbound logistics follows finished products and information from the business, customers, and to the final consumers. Third-party logistics involves employing outside firms to move goods. Manufacturers, distributors, and retailers need to communicate with supply chain partners to provide real-time information. AI has the potential to make the world more efficient with assembly lines, packaging, and shipping. Blockchain can give supply chain members total information regarding the product. Procurement is purchasing, also known as purchasing, is the buying of raw materials needed by the organization. The purchasing department aims to obtain items of the desired quality in the right quantities at the lowest possible cost. Not all organizations purchase materials. Sometimes a firm can make materials more economically than outside suppliers. Others lease rather than buy equipment. Inventory is every raw material, component, complete or partially complete product, and piece of equipment that the firm uses. There are three basic types of inventory. Finished goods includes those products that are ready to sell, such as fully assembled automobiles ready to ship to the dealer. Work in process inventory consists of those products that are partly complete or in the same stage of transformation process. Raw material inventory includes all the materials that have been purchased to be used as inputs for making other products. Inventory controls the process by determining how supplies and goods are needed to keep track of quantities on hand, including where each item is and who is responsible for each item. OM must be closely coordinated with inventory control, and inventory managers spend a great deal of time trying to determine the proper inventory levels for each item. The economic order quantity model is an approach to inventory management that identifies the optimal number of items to order to minimize the cost of managing, which includes ordering, storing, and using them. Just-in-time inventory management eliminates waste by using smaller quantities of the material that arrive just in time for use in the transformation process, and therefore requires less storage space and other inventory management expense. One downside to just-in-time inventory management might be shortages of unforeseen circumstances, such as when natural disasters occur, or even what we saw during COVID-19. Material requirement planning is planning systems that schedules the precise quantity of materials needed to make the product. Globalization has put pressure on supply chain managers to improve speed and balance resources against competitive pressures. Outsourcing has increasingly become a component of supply chain management and operations. It refers to the contracting of manufacturing other tasks to independent companies, often overseas. Many athletic shoe manufacturers such as Nike outsource production to China or Vietnam to take advantage of low labor costs. Companies that hire suppliers must make sure that their suppliers are following company standards of conduct, as failure to do so could lead to criticism of the company. Outsourcing has increasingly been linked with development of competitive advantage through improved product quality, speeding up the time it takes products to get to the customers, and overall supply chain efficiencies. Outsourcing allows companies to free up time and resources to focus on what they do best and to create better opportunities to focus on customer satisfaction. However, outsourcing may create conflict with labor and negative public opinion when it results in the U.S. workers being replaced by low-cost workers in other countries. Routing is the sequence of operations through which the product must pass. The sequence depends on the product specifications developed by the engineering department of the company. Scheduling is the process of assigning work to be done to departments or even specific machines or persons. A popular scheduling technique is the program evaluation review technique, which evaluates the sequence of activities required to complete a project to find the most efficient or critical path. The path that requires the longest time from start to completion is called the critical path because it determines the minimum amount of time in which the process can be completed. Producing Big Macs involves several steps including grilling the patties, assembling the ingredients, and placing the Big Mac in its package. If any of these activities on the critical path for production fall behind schedule, the sandwich will not be completed on time, causing customers to wait longer than they usually would. Quality, like cost and efficiency, is a critical element of operation management because defective products can quickly ruin a firm. Quality reflects the degree to which a product meets the demands and requirements of the customers. For instance, a customer often considers quality of service of many airlines to be poor due to the frequent flight delays and lost baggage. Independent sources such as J.D. Power and Associates annual initial quality survey can be helpful to companies in measuring the quality of their products. A company has to decide which quality characteristics consider important, and then define those characteristics in terms that can be measured. The Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award is given to companies that meet rigorous standards of quality. Quality control refers to the processes an organization uses to maintain its established quality standards. One method is statistical process control, where management collects and analyzes information about the production processes to pinpoint quality problems. To regain a competitive edge, a number of firms have adopted total quality control management, which is a philosophy that uniform commitment to quality in areas of the organization will promote a culture that meets customer perception of quality. TQM involves coordinating efforts to improve customer satisfaction, increasing employee participation and empowerment, strengthen supplier partnership, and form and foster an organizational culture of continuous quality improvement. Continuous improvement of an organization's product is built around the notion that quality is free. In contrast, not having high-quality products is expensive. A primary tool of continuous improvement is benchmarking, which is the measurement and evaluating of quality of the firm's goods, services, or processes, as compared with quality produced by the best-performing companies in the industry. TQM should be incorporated throughout the transformation process, and quality control should be viewed as an element of the product itself rather than a function of the operation process. Regardless of whether a company has a TQM program, first it must determine what standard of quality is desired and then assess whether the products meet that standard. Product specifications and quality standards must be set so the company can create a product that will compete in the marketplace. Quality standards can be incorporated into service businesses as well. Quality standards for manufacturing might be the thickness of material for amount of certain material or the amount of certain material. Service industry standards could be things such as how long a customer waits or how many fries are in the actual order. The next step would be inspection. ISO 9000 is a series of quality assurance standards designed by the International Organization for Standardization to ensure consistent product quality under many conditions. The standards provide a framework for documenting how certified business keeps records, trains employees, tests products, and fixes defects. Certification has become a virtual necessity for doing business in some high technology businesses. ISO 14000 is a comprehensive set of environmental standards that encourages a cleaner and safer world. It helps create a uniform standard across nations with varying regulations. ISO 19600 provides guidelines for compliance management that addresses risk, legal requirements, and stakeholder needs. Inspections reveals whether products meet established quality standards. Some inspection techniques are simple, such as weighing or observing, while others are much more elaborate. Organizations normally inspect purchased items, work in process items, and finished items. The inspection of purchased items and finished items takes place after the fact, and the inspection of work in process is a preventative measure. When inspection processes are expensive to perform, use elaborate testing equipment, and destroy products, they require many hours to complete. It is usually desirable to test just a sample of the outputs. If the sample passes inspection, the inspector may assume that all items from the lot also pass inspection. Sampling will probably be used if tests are destructive to the product. In human lifespan or safety depends on these items, 100% inspection is called for. Managing supply chains requires diligence and ability to make quick tactical decisions. Managing partners in the supply chain and operations is important because many stakeholders hold the firms responsible for appropriate conduct relating to the quality. Businesses can manage the risk of global chain supply through the following, such as adopting global supplier code of conduct, encouraging compliance and procurement employees to work together to ensure ethical sourcing and practices that are reasonably priced, and create a diverse supply chain to minimize risks, and last, perform regular audits on suppliers to ensure compliance to standards. As always, thank you for taking the time to listen to this lecture. If you do have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to reach out to me.